What if I told you that one footballer's goals were linked to the deaths of Osama bin Laden, Steve Jobs, Whitney Houston, Robin Williams, David Bowie, Stephen Hawking, and Giorgio Armani? What if I told you the same player had his leg snapped in half on live television and came back to score FA Cup winning goals? What if I told you he turned down Sir Alex Ferguson and never regretted it? His name is Aaron Ramsey, and whether you think you know his story or not, I promise you, you don't. Not really. Because behind the goals, the trophies, and the headline, there are 5 facts about this man that most football fans have never heard in full. Today, we're changing that. Let's go. Fact 1. The leg that nearly ended everything. February 27th, 2010, Britannia Stadium, Stoke City vs Arsenal. Aaron Ramsey is 19 years old. He's 2 seasons into his Arsenal career, starting to find his feet, starting to become something. And then, in one moment, it's all nearly taken away. Ryan Shawcross goes in with a challenge. You can hear it. A sickening crack that echoes around the ground. Ramsey's right leg breaks in 2 places, both the tibia and the fibula, shattered. His leg was pointing sideways. Arsene Wenger turned around from the touchline, and his face, by all accounts, was pure horror. It gets worse. Years later, a former Stoke player revealed that Tony Pulis had delivered a ferocious team talk that week, deliberately winding up his players, telling them to be aggressive, to physically dominate Arsenal's midfielders. The culture inside that changing room that day, he said, directly contributed to what happened to Ramsey. Shawcross was sent off, Ramsey was hospitalised, and the question hanging over English football for the next 9 months was simple. Would he ever be the same player again? He was sidelined for 9 months. He went on loan to his boyhood club Cardiff to rebuild. Arsenal pulled him back early. Then another loan, this time to Nottingham Forest. It was a gruelling, painful, lonely road back. But here's what makes it remarkable. When he finally returned to full fitness, when he was given his chance again, he didn't just survive, he thrived. His first goal after the injury, against Manchester United, a winner. And he cried, openly, on the pitch. Fact 2. He turned down Sir Alex Ferguson. Now let's rewind a little. Before Arsenal, before any of it, Aaron Ramsey is a teenage prodigy at Cardiff City, already the club's youngest ever first-team player at just 16 years and 124 days old. And the top clubs come calling. Not one big club, not 2, 3. Manchester United, Arsenal and Everton all want him. And at the head of the queue is the most powerful manager in English football history, Sir Alex Ferguson himself, the man who built dynasties, the man who nobody said no to. Aaron Ramsey said no. Here's the twist. Ramsey grew up a Manchester United fan. He idolised them. And yet when it came to the biggest decision of his young career, he walked away from Old Trafford and chose Arsenal instead. He never fully explained exactly why, but he chose the project, the coach, the vision Arsene Wenger laid out for him. And fate has a strange sense of humour. Because the first goal Ramsey scored after his career-threatening leg break, the emotional, tearful one we just talked about, was against Manchester United, the club he turned down, at their ground, the winning goal. You genuinely could not write it. Fact 3. 3 FA Cup finals, 2 winning goals, 1 legend, energetic. Let's talk about the FA Cup, because this is where Aaron Ramsey stopped being a good player and started becoming a myth. 2-0-14, FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Hull City. It's 2-0 to Hull within 8 minutes. One of the biggest upsets in Wembley history is developing in real time. Arsenal fans are stunned, and then they come back. They equalise. They force extra time, and there, in the 109th minute, Aaron Ramsey meets a cross and half volleys it into the net. Arsenal win their first FA Cup in 9 years, and Ramsey's is the goal that does it. 2-0-15, FA Cup final, Arsenal win again. Ramsey is part of it. 2016, FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Chelsea. 87th minute, the game is level. Alexis Sanchez plays it across. Ramsey, arriving from deep, finishes clinically. 2-1, Arsenal win. 2 FA Cup finals, 2 winning goals, 3 FA Cups in total during his time at the Emirates. There is literally no one in the modern era with that kind of record in cup finals. Not for Arsenal, not close. And it's not just that he scored, it's when he scored. The biggest moments, the moments when other players freeze, Ramsey arrived. He had something that can't be coached, an absolute refusal to be ordinary when it mattered most. He made 369 appearances for Arsenal, 64 goals, named Player of the Year twice, and he's still, to this day, deeply underrated in conversations about the best midfielders of his generation. Fact 4. The curse. Right. This is the one you've probably heard whispers about, but the full picture is wilder than you think. It became known as the Aaron Ramsey curse. The theory? Simple. Unsettling. Whenever Aaron Ramsey scores a goal, a famous person dies. It sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And yet, it started quietly. May 2011. Ramsey scores against Manchester United. The next day, the world wakes up to news that Osama bin Laden is dead. Coincidence? October 2011. Ramsey scores against Tottenham. 3 days later, Steve Jobs passes away. Then Muammar Gaddafi dies the day after Ramsey scores in Europe. Then Whitney Houston dies the day after he scores against Sunderland. Then Paul Walker. Then Robin Williams. Then David Bowie and Alan Rickman in the same week, both following Ramsey goals in January 2016. Then Stephen Hawking. Then Burt Reynolds. Then Keith Flint of The Prodigy. Out of roughly 80 career goals, around 27 to 35 have been followed within days by a major celebrity death. The internet went into meltdown. Spanish journalists started tweeting warnings every time Ramsey was in good form. When he scored his first career hat-trick in 2018, one football statistician tweeted, and I'm paraphrasing, "Gentlemen, we're all going to die." Ramsey himself has always called it stupid. And rationally, it is a coincidence. Famous people die regularly, and with enough goals over enough years, patterns will emerge. The math isn't supernatural, but here's what makes it culturally fascinating. It followed him everywhere. To Juventus, to Rangers, to Nice, to Cardiff, even to Mexico, where he scored a 90th minute winner for Pumas in August 202-5. And 4 days later, fashion legend Giorgio Armani passed away aged 91. The curse apparently has no passport control. Whether you believe it or not, and you absolutely should not, it is one of the most bizarre, persistent, and genuinely entertaining conspiracy theories in the history of football, and it belongs entirely to Aaron Ramsey. Fact 5. The most underappreciated career in a generation. Here's the thing that nobody really talks about when it comes to Aaron Ramsey. He didn't just play football. He played football through chaos. A broken leg at 19 that could have ended it all. The weight of being the highest paid British player in history when he moved to Juventus, £400,000 a week, and the scrutiny that came with it. Injuries that kept derailing momentum every time he found his rhythm. Moving clubs 9 times after leaving Arsenal. 7 countries. A caretaker manager stint. A nomadic final chapter that took him to Japan, then Canada, then Mexico. And through all of it, 86 caps for Wales. A semi-final at Euro 21-6. A moment that meant everything to a small nation that had waited decades for it. The first Welsh team to qualify for a World Cup since 1958. He wasn't just a footballer to Wales. He was a symbol. He retired in 2025, aged 34, quietly without a club. No grand farewell, no statue, no parade. But the numbers tell the real story. Over 600 appearances across his career, 15 major trophies, 3 FA Cups, a Serie A title, a Scottish Cup. A man who played in the Premier League, Serie A, League One, the Eredivisie, the Bundesliga, La Liga, MLS, the J-League, and Liga MX. How many players can say that? Aaron Ramsey was never the most famous, never the most celebrated, but he was, for a decade, one of the most quietly exceptional midfielders English football produced. And the fact that we're still talking about him, still debating the curse, still replaying those FA Cup finals, tells you everything. Aaron Ramsey, broken leg survivor, FA Cup hero, curse carrier, Welsh icon, and one of the most underrated players of his generation. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you believe in the Aaron Ramsey curse? I genuinely want to know. See you in the next one.